Good morning. Today I will be talking about print media, the unofficial fourth branch of the government. So we all know what social media is, right? It's a form of digital media that we know today as Twitter, Instagram, articles, but what's the actual definition? Well, dictionary.com states that it's websites and applications that enable users to create and share content or to participate in social networking. While this describes the 21st century, it also applies to America from over 200 years ago. How? While early Americans obviously did not have access to, say, cell phones or computers, they did have their own way of accessing and communicating quickly and efficiently. What was this invention? It was print media. But before we discuss the effects of print media, we first need to define what it is. Print media, again defined by dictionary.com, is the industry that's engaged in the printing and dissemination of news through newspapers and magazines. So, despite being around for over 600 years in Europe, print media greatly influenced the formation of America's government through the existence of the printing press, acting as a binding agent before and during the American Revolution, and finally catapulting the government's influence on public opinion during the Civil War era. So firstly, what are some of the effects of the printing press? Well, it was invented by German goldsmith Johannes Gutenberg in 1436, where he was able to print a total of 200 Bibles in just 3 years. While this may not seem like a lot by, say, today's standards, it was unheard of then. Now, there were two main ways to typically print materials. This was either made by hand or by block printing. Block printing, while it was a way to mass produce text, was extremely expensive to produce and to purchase. The printing press, on the other hand, was way cheaper to produce, to distribute, and to sell. And the printing press also led to a huge increase in literacy rates. It was an encouragement to create and share the knowledge that each other had. So as you can see, it was even though it was utilized during Europe, it was most utilized in the time period leading up to the American Revolution. So secondly, how did print media affect the 13 colonies before and during the American Revolution? Well, before war broke out, the colonies had a very unstable, very fragile relationship with one another. Print media acted as the binding agent that enabled them to strengthen and support one another. It allowed for opposition to British policies to circulate throughout all of the colonies. Revolutionaries were able to create and share their ideas, create a movement, and unite to oppose unjust treatment. Take, for example, the Stamp Act. The Stamp Act of 1765 imposed a direct taxation on the colonies and required them to buy and place a stamp on most printed materials. To oppose this, and in opposition to this, the Pennsylvania Printing Journal Company created its own stamp image that you can see on the right to mock the official parliamentary one. Because of this campaign and because of the mass opposition towards the Stamp Act, Parliament repealed it only a year later in 1766. So as you can see, print media allowed for people to speak their minds without fear of censorship, bringing them together against Great Britain. So finally, how did print media catapult the government's influence on public opinion during the Civil War era? Well, thanks to the invention of the electric telegraph, newspapers were able to receive reports more quickly and efficiently than ever before. Newspapers decided what was true and controlled the public opinion when it came to information. They were the propaganda machines of the day, and they propelled the newspaper industry to new heights in America. Print media gave the public near constant access to news and events, and in return, they enable and they solidified their place and ability to affect public opinion. So as you can see, print media has greatly affected the formation of America, which is why it is considered to be the unofficial fourth branch of the government. It's because of the amount of unelected power that it wields. As you can see throughout this presentation, the dissemination of ideas is powerful and influential in any society, but especially in ours today. Thank you.